put together instead of a spring game. And from my perspective, it allowed us to cover, virtually every situation in a game, including some live special teams that, in my time as a head coach, we, sometimes don't get. Everybody gets work. It gives us the opportunity to not worry about the depth and who to protect. Everybody gets a chance to get out there and compete. And, I can craft the situations within the game that allows us to get the appropriate work necessary and still, have a pregame timeline and still get them in the game day locker room and still get a routine that mimics in some fashion what it's like to prepare for a game situation. So from that perspective, we've got great film to watch and to evaluate and to continue to work on our players, technical and tactical development. This wasn't a practice for us to go, okay, this is the starting left guard or this is the starting, safety. This was about another step towards, developing our football team and getting us closer to the preparation necessary for when we go into camp, getting us ready for our first game. So it's kind of my opening statements, and then we'll go from there. Yeah, he had an ankle sprain in practice, just precautionary. He doesn't look to be very serious. We kept him in a walking boot today, but nothing like the previous injury where he had the dislocated toes. So hopefully get him back, if not Tuesday, but most likely Thursday of next week.
Today, at least, the edge rushers seemed really impressive. Just what have you learned about that position group here?
Which one?
The edge rushers.
Well, you've got mature players that have played a lot of football, and certainly that shows up. And it didn't just show up today for me; it showed up every day in practice. And I will say this: I mean, we were very, I would say, intentional about who we were looking for and the kind of personality. Those guys are great workers. They do it the right way off the field, in this building. They are leaders, even in the sense of how they handle themselves amongst our football team, even though they've only been here since January. So these were really impactful players, not only from an edge standpoint in terms of what you see, but I can tell you from behind the scenes, they're very impactful as well.
Brian, we also didn't see Destin Hill, if you can give an update there. And then Trades looked like maybe he got rolled up. Just an update on how he's doing.
Another ankle with Destin, and it's too bad because he's had a really good spring. Been really impressed with him. His strength is just the ability to go up and get the football. He's strong. He's physical. He's smart. He's really going to help us, and it was too bad that he couldn't be out there today, but he's got an ankle. His is a little bit more severe, high ankle sprain, and we'll have to see where that takes us, whether we can make the next two practices or not with him. Trades was fine. He wanted to stay in there. But it brings the attention to the new rule that will be coming in, and that is, in those kinds of situations, if you go down after the ball is put in play, you're going to be charged a timeout in those situations. So, we've got to be very careful in those situations. If you're hurt, you better go down before they blow the ball ready for play, or you're going to be charged a timeout. So just the thing that we can educate them on in those situations.
Yeah, Coach, just a lot of rotating in and out this offensive line right now. Just what have you liked about, how those guys have kind of evolved through spring, but also just how close or far away from you in terms of, like, pegging this thing down on the O-line?
Well, I think we've made great progress in building versatility within the group. I think in one sense we've been clear that the mandate was not to go through the spring and name 5 guys. And so if we went in with that goal, we would not be anywhere near that. But that wasn't the goal. The goal was to get guys in position where we could find out what the best fit was for them individually and for us as a unit, and then as LSU as a football team. So it's been moving guys around and finding where the right fits are, and then we'll go into camp and probably say, all right, through the first 8-9 practices, will give us some time to make the decision on what that unit is, and then build continuity through the back end of preseason camp with the starting five.
You were talking about today being a lot for development with guys, and Harlem Berry's another guy who's obviously young and getting developed at this stage. What have you seen kind of from him since the last time that you spoke about him? Because I think it was a few weeks ago you had mentioned the steps he had taken forward. What have you seen from him as he kind of maybe battles for the RB2 spot?
He's a natural runner of the football. He sees things that you just don't coach. And the great backs just have that natural, uncanny ability to see things on the move, and you just let it go. He's got to be coached on protections. He's got to be coached on scheme. He's got to be coached on how to eat. He's got to be coached on some other things, and we're doing it. And he's very receptive to that. I didn't mean to imply other, but he's a natural runner of the football, and he's really good. And I think he lives up to the billing of the best running back in the country because of his just natural instincts that he has as a running back.
Do you think he has a real shot to compete for that second running back spot?
He'll play for us as a freshman, yeah.
Coach, nationally, there's been a lot of discussion about playing other teams during spring football after going through this open practice format. Do you have an opinion on that? Would you be open to doing that?
I would be open to it. I think there's, clearly the calendar, dictates a lot of this, right? We work off of an academic calendar, relative to recruiting, relative to different schools being on quarters versus being on semesters. So there's a lot of things that would have to kind of, come together in those situations. But I think what I would say about it is that in years past, it was a dream. I think it's within our grasp now. I think there needs to be some more attention to particular rules that make that difficult. But I think we're on the course towards that happening.
So you would prefer that?
Well, I would prefer if we were to do some things like a game, that we could do some.
What's up, everybody? LSUODYSSEY.com live spring game reaction. This footage here is from Jordy Culotta Show. We wanted to show you kind of all what went down in this spring game. All that we could possibly cobble together. CJ, you wild boy. And there was so many different things, from the return of Colin Hurley to Garrett Nussmeier, to just kind of, you can't really tell who is going to start in this offensive line. So many different rotations. Some big plays all over the place. Caleb Jackson has had a few big plays. DeMarcus Cooley blocks a field goal. I mean, there was all sorts of weird stuff. Michael Van Buren is out there at quarterback. You see Juwan Johnson looking sharp at quarterback. It was an interesting spring game. Let's go through this footage because this is from Jordy Culotta Show. There's DJ Chester right there. 79, snap into Nuss. They're doing those individual drills. And that's Harlem Berry getting the handoffs right there. who all watching was at the spring game and can give even more info that maybe I'm missing? Can say, hey, this guy scored a touchdown. You guys forgot about this because yes, I wasn't really counting. Oh, this guy scored 3 touchdowns because I mean, if you saw the footage, what you're about to see, if you were there, you could tell that this isn't really like. I mean, there was moments of hitting, there was moments of real competition and tackling and stuff at times, but for the most part, this was very pedestrian. You know what I'm saying? So we've got these drills, this drill work here, and you heard Brian Kelly just say in that press conference that we used as a kind of pre-show intro that Trey'Dez Green gets hurt. Doesn't look too serious, right? But still, you do not want any injuries. Caden Durham, he's in a boot. They don't think it's that serious. Not even as serious as his dislocated toe was. Last year, Kelly said, so that was very, very good news to hear. But still, you don't want to hear about any injuries, see any injuries happening. But this is the game of football. It's going to happen. Was anyone impressed by Michael Van Buren, or was it Juwan Johnson that you were more impressed with? Because I have my answer.
Unlimited 1.5% cash back is just the...
Jesus. That was the loudest commercial I've... Like, that's the problem with these commercials nowadays. Not only are they annoying, they're just loud. And they come on and all over the place. Terrible. But who else was actually... who was more impressed with Michael Van Buren, or was it Juwan Johnson you were more impressed with? Because for me, I was more impressed with Juwan Johnson. I thought he looked sharp. Even when throws were dropped, throws were slightly missed, they were still on target, still capable of receiver making a play on the ball. Michael Van Buren had some problems with location. He looked polished, he looked smooth, but there was some real strong problems with his actual passing accuracy. But no doubt Michael Van Buren, he has what it takes to be in command of an SEC offense. There's Deshaun Spears right there, number 10. He's such a massive human being. Our guy Holden just told us earlier he's a big fan of Spears, wants him to really take that next step, and so do we. I mean, you want all these guys, really. I mean, you want to see everybody. I mean, although there's only 22 positions, 11 each, offensively, defensively, and special teams as well as the other phase. Realistically, it's just never going to be possible. You just want to see success for everybody. There's an interesting shot right there. You got Jordan Arsamon there in the gold number 1 jersey. And then you got Colin Hurley right there. You got PK, Patrick Kelly. Then that muscular dude, the bald guy, is Charles Hurley, Colin Hurley's father. That guy's awesome. Like, I can't wait to do an interview with that guy because he's got the coolest background. I won't divulge any information that I know about the guy. I don't know what he's comfortable or uncomfortable with, but I'll just say he's a very cool dude. He has a very interesting history from football to he's done some cool stuff. We'll just say that. And then you got Jack Marucci right there in the hat with the glasses looking away. That's a very eclectic group right there. And this was kind of cool to see Colin Hurley return to LSU, have this moment where, you know, this footage was everywhere with him and Kelly. Let's get the footage up there. Let's get the footage. Let's see. That's footage of Hurley with. We'll show that later, but that's some more footage by Jacques Doucet of Colin Hurley. But we'll actually show this too as well. Colin Hurley. This is a message from the Hurley family. Very interesting here. Colin Hurley has made a full recovery and has rejoined the LSU football program. His return is not only a testament to his elite physical health, determination, and commitment, but also the exceptional care and expertise of medical and sports performance professionals in Florida, as well as the unwavering and closely coordinated support of LSU's medical, training, coaching, and academic staff under the leadership of head coach Brian Kelly. Colin and his family are grateful for the dedication, collaboration, and support of everyone involved throughout the process. Now back with his team, his sole focus is on football and academics, working alongside his teammates and coaches to contribute to the success of the program. His goal remains resolute: to bring a national championship to Baton Rouge and graduate a champion. Very, very hey, I'm not going anywhere. We're not transferring. We're back. We're going to be fine. No injuries. So it was very good to see that Jamarcus Russell and Kyle Williams reuniting as well. Crazy reunion. Crazy reunion. God, where? Here we go. Footage of Colin Hurley. We'll get into the I'm Olivia guy, or whatever the hell his name is. Nico I'm Olivia. We'll get into him later on. But, yeah, this is footage of Hurley back at LSU since his accident. And what was that? Was that right? That was right after Christmas when Colin Hurley ran into that tree. You got Chuck. Sorry, guys. Seiji, what is that? Is this James Bond? I mean, is that footage epic or what? Colin Hurley coming back. He's not going around, hey, I'm going to sue you. Hey, give me money. He's just like, hey, I'm back. Good to see my teammates. Let's do this. And obviously not in condition to play today, but the fact that he said in his statement, football and academics, I mean, could that just mean that he's happy to be back a part of the team and he's going to just be redshirting this season because of the car accident injuries? And then next year he'll have a full go at potentially starting for LSU in a quarterback battle. That could be the plan. That could be the plan for Colin Hurley. But either way, it is great for him to be back around the team, whether he can throw a football or not this season. Just that nothing bad happened. because there's been enough bad stuff happening in this world. Losing a good kid like Colin Hurley would have just been gut wrenching. It already has sucked for him and for his family, what he's gone through, the trials, the whole, just how it throws things out of whack when these type of things happen. But to see his perseverance to get through, get back to his team, what a beast! Absolutely love that kid, Colin Hurley. Um, if you absolutely aren't a fan of Colin Hurley, and you call yourself a Tigers fan, you don't think he's a true Tiger or something, like, you don't know the meaning of being a true Tiger. Colin Hurley is an absolute badass, and he's been loyal to the bone to LSU, and it's time that LSU shows that loyalty straight back during his difficult time, and it looks like LSU is fulfilling that big time, and it's great to see, because his family are saying LSU are very supportive. His family are saying the program, the doctors, everybody has been all on board and supporting Colin's recovery. Not just like, oh, we got injured, oh my gosh, our sympathies, goodbye. It's let's get him recovered. Let's get him well. To me, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. And huge points are there for Kelly's team. I know it's not about points or whatever, but like in the game of life, ching plus 800, like holy crap. You actually genuinely stood by a kid when so many college programs would have probably just been like, all right, cut the scholarship. We've already got Juwan Johnson, Michael Van Buren in place. Blah, 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 blah. Colin Hurley could be your future guy. You never know. He's that good. And I know the accident is a big setback, but once he kind of takes some time, recovers, you just never know. Football is the craziest game in the world. And, God has a way of taking a nobody and turning them into a somebody in front of everybody. And Colin Hurley, he should be a name that everybody knows from recruiting and for being a quarterback at LSU. But such is the way of the world. Only really diehard fans know a lot of these players' names. And to the diehard LSU fans, to the real ones of Tiger Nation, Colin Hurley, you guys have been commenting and on every post of his and loving Colin Hurley for years at this point. So it's great to see him back. It's great to see him recovered, and let's hope that continues. And it's also great to see LSU here in the spring game footage from the Jordy Culotta Show, filmed by the Jordy Culotta Show. There's Jacobian Guillory. Very quick glimpse of Jacobian Guillory back running rampant for LSU's defensive tackle unit. What a BAMF. It is so great to see him back. There's LSU's coaches with some, and LSU assistants with some recruits there. There's Blake Baker running the show. There's Miles Frazier back with Brad Davis. Sage. Here they come running out. There's Bobby Barham with the crazy sunglasses right there. There's Ashton Stamps, number 1. Bro Woodland, number 11. really weird to see so few fans. The turnout, man. I mean, am I saying something out of turn? Am I making a wrong statement by saying this? But it looks to me like there's not as many people as even by half, that I expected to be there. I get that I wasn't there either, but I'm halfway across the country. Um, if you're in Louisiana, there's really no excuse to miss out on this. Like, I get it. Louisiana traffic, I-10 traffic sucks. I get it. This is a team that is chock full of talents. They could win something this year. Really. How could you not want to see that? I get it. It's a spring game, and it's not even a real spring game. It's an open practice. I get it. I get it. But man, sometimes we don't understand as LSU Tiger fans how spoiled we are and how good we have it with some of our rosters until these guys are gone. We really don't. Like, we don't really get it. I think 2019, everyone understood how special it was what we were watching very quickly. Like, right after the Texas game, it was like every game is gonna be something special. It's not only gonna be must see TV, but it's gonna be something special. I think you're seeing something that could be in that vein this season. There's so many weapons offensively on this team. There's so many weapons, and then defensively, man, there's just some straight up dogs on this defense. And the defense had it today. Here they are doing the individual drills, which they did first at 10:30 a.m. Central. You've got the defensive tackles here. There's Sean Washington, 95, big Sean Washington. Harlem Berry, once again, you're going to see a lot of him getting the football. There's Harold Perkins. Let's go back and take a look at him. See if anything taped up. Nothing like. You got some chicken. Harold Perkins is an absolute freak. We got to get him back, man, as soon as we can to practices. Because it's about the creativity and developing the creativity, but it's all, what can be possible with him on a football field, but it's also up to Blake Baker to kind of have that stuff kind of ready for when Perkins is back so that, like, they can just hit the ground running and just run it, see what works, what doesn't. That works, but that doesn't. Take that out, switch it with this, whatever. Because there's so many different ways that I think you could utilize Harold Perkins in so many different ways that, like, hey, Javian Tobiano at safety, what makes him really interesting to me at safety. Crap, I knocked something over. What makes me really interested in Tobiano at safety is that when you have a guy at star like Perkins, he doesn't necessarily have to go into coverage every time, because you could have Toviano come down and take over somebody if they motioned over to where Perkins was at the star position. And, he's gonna probably edge rush off the edge here. Motion a guy over, and now you're in coverage. Well, actually, no, we can have Toviano drop down from the safety, take that guy, and yeah, you're rolling with a cover one with just one safety, but still, you don't effectively change much, and everybody still is covered, and you have an adequate cover man from safety in Javian Toviano. So, I mean, I don't know. I've heard some mixed things about Toviano. I heard some stuff about him not being that good. People thinking he sucks. People thinking he didn't have a good enough spring. But I think he played well overall. every safety at the back had moments where they just did not look good this spring. And that's what's great about what we have on offense. So you want to rewind this a bit because you got some cool moments here. You've got Caleb Jackson making some plays. There's a good shot of some of our edge guys right there, though. There we go. Here we go. There's Nuss. Ooh, I like that throw to Tradez. Okay. I mean, see, it's all very comfortable, kind of very pedestrian, but there's a few instances of Caleb Jackson getting the football in passing situations where the play design I liked. So you can see how casual it is with this rep. Watch Chris Hilton out of the stance here. He's just kind of like, doom, let's go. You know, like it's nothing really serious for him right there. They're kind of half hitting. You'll see the second and third strings do a lot more hitting and tackling, but the first stringers, they're basically meeting each other at the point of attack and kind of laying off. See what I mean? Patrick Payton, number 6, easily shed that guy off when he is in there. So it's hard to know, you know, if this is oh wow, Patrick Payton shedding that guy off. Like, he's so good at shedding off blocks. Like, was the guy even trying to block him? It's probably not. So it's hard to really gauge here. Ooh, Harlem Berry, he looks explosive. Well, I mean, he was getting the ball in like 20 yards of space because no one was really covering him. You know, it's hard to really look at this and say definitive things. I think it's almost impossible to say definitive things about this team from I mean, sure, you can say some obvious things here. Caden Durham, Caleb Jackson, most likely going to be your number 1s, your number 2s. Garrett Nussmeier, probably be your starting quarterback, obviously, unless injury. Like, duh. Like, we shouldn't even bring that up. Your receivers, 1 through 3, that could change. But there's enough differing profiles. Guys are going to get reps. They're going to play. On defense, I actually wish you had far more rotation on defense than you have on offense. That's why this offense almost has a duty to drop a lot of points and really cash in what they've got going for them on that side of the ball, because it's ridiculous what they could do. This defense, just be top 50. Just be top 50, keep us in games, take the football away, we'll be fine. But look at that. Okay, Garrett Nussmeier overshoots that one. He has him, overshoots Xavier Thomas there. I like that play, but he's going nowhere if Davon Keys can actually tackle him right here. Look, he's got him dead to rights. But he doesn't do anything. He lets him go. See what I'm saying? It's hard to really gauge exactly where this team is at based on this spring game open practice footage. Oh my God, you know. Look at that. Ooh, wow, Nuss misses a wide open shot here. I mean, this is pitch and catch. Who is that? That's Aaron Anderson. That's even worse because Aaron Anderson, that's your leading receiver for last year. Like, you and him should be dialed in. It's a slant, easy slant, and Nuss is just way too, you can see the football, putting way too much on this. I mean, wow, that was going nowhere near. Like, Nuss has the capability to do that. He'll throw like 30 completions in a game. and he'll be unbelievable. But then out of nowhere, he'll make these two, like, what was going on type of throws. And it's something I love about him because he's willing to go for it. He's willing to try it. He's willing to tempt failure by pursuing greatness. I love that about Garrett Nussmeier, because really, if you look at it, a lot of the greats are the same like that. They're not just risk adverse. You usually had to go through the fire, make some big mistakes, fall flat on your face, to then figure out how to become a champion. And Garrett Nussmeier, that's a poor throw in an exhibition-esque scenario. I'm not going to really hold that too much against him. It's whatever. Here's Michael Van Buren dropping back, making that pass right there to Kyle Parker, who had a season-ending injury. That's why he's wearing that red jersey. But like I said, he looks smooth. He's a smooth operator, Michael Van Buren. Like, this is his offense. But, I'm calling the shots. This is my offense. But at the same time, he looks like a good in-command SEC quarterback. But mechanically throwing the football, hymns, what is going on? He used hymns. Oh my God. Do I even want to look up what hymns is? Like that was the creepiest ad ever. It almost looked like you were on suddenly in a OnlyFans chat. Like, what the hell is going on here? Like, that was weird. With Michael Van Buren, I think he's got a lot of work to do to really get where he needs to be as an SEC potential LSU starting quarterback. He looks good. He looks good. But the release is really telegraphs. It really telegraphs the release. Just watch how he limited range. That was actually a good throw, but that's actually a better rep by DJ Pickett there. DJ Pickett, we get a good glimpse finally, outside of the interception during practices this spring. There's only been maybe 10, 11 minutes that I've seen of good footage of DJ Pickett. It's been really tough pickings to find. But here's one of DJ Pickett, balls up in the air. And look at that. DJ Pickett puts his length. He just gets his hands up. And wouldn't you know, just doing that is sometimes just enough to create an incompletion. Well, maybe it'd be great to know that LSU had secondary guys that are willing to try that if they have to. DJ Pickett has the length where if he's going to put those arms up, it's going to be difficult to find the ball. And he knows it. And he knows if he can't get there on the ball, if he puts his arms up, it's gonna make it impossible for that guy to see the football as it's falling over Pickett when it's coming down for the drop. See that? Now, if Nick Anderson actually jumps right up here and actually gets some more elevation and tries to get a jump on Pickett and jumps into Pickett kind of and goes and gets the football, he's probably going to come close to making that play. Instead, he kind of jumps away, barely gets any hops, and Pickett is just draped all over the play legally. And also, the pass isn't good, really. And then here we go, Jawan Johnson as the backup. Brian Kelly was saying they were going to use him as a red zone weapon. They have packages for him to be a red zone weapon down there where, like, hey, they can have Nuss go out in the flat as a receiver, and Juwan Johnson takes a direct snap at Wildcat. You know, like they are going to try that type of stuff this season, and I love it. Just put the ball in the freaking end zone. I don't care how you do it, but do it. Look at that throw by Juwan Johnson, man. Look at that throw by this kid. You think he's just a run-only quarterback. Look at this. Look at that spiral. And that's a play that is probably should have been made. You see it's incomplete, and that's Toviano preventing that. Is that a drop, or is that Toviano making a play on the ball? Let's see here. People are right in the way. That looks kind of like a drop. Like, I'm going to be fair to Toviano. That's good coverage, but I think that's also a drop right there. I think that's just a drop. Ooh, bad throw. Once again, some of the throwing today by the quarterbacks was terrible. Some of these passes were just really pitiful. Nuss, Juwan Johnson, and Michael. This is crazy. Is Aaron Anderson returning a punt? There's Xavion Thomas making some people miss. Ooh, great tackle from Mansour Delane right there. Look at this. That's beautiful. I love it. Mansour Delane is completely facing the other way and makes that move, makes that play, what a turn. We got to see that one more time. One more time. Because that's a special teams type of stuff LSU hasn't had for a while. Look at that turn. Oh my God, Delane, that's so sick. He's facing the other way and literally turns around and makes the stop. Oh, that is just beautiful. Oh. Guys, that's epic. That is just beautiful. I love knowing that we have a guy on the corners, Mansour Delane, who can tackle like that. Who's going to tackle like that. We also need that at safety, obviously, but my God, it's good to know this. Good to have this in our locker. Oh shoot, what are we looking for? See, this is interesting here. You see LSU with this formation with Cooley, Keys, West, Weeks, Butler, Woodland at corner, McKinley at DT, Toviano at the back end, Toviano and Cooley right there. You see them both back there. That was who you mostly saw at the back end this spring. And then when Cooley went out with an injury, you saw Spears take his spot. Keys 42 looks so good. He looks so good for LSU, man. Love watching that kid play football. Whoa. He just made that play on the edge, too. Holy crap. Oh, another freaking stupid ad. Are you kidding me? What a play by Keys. Okay, he's over here. Who's that? Aaron Anderson? Yep. just goes sprawling. Damn, Keys, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Okay, I'm loving what I'm seeing from LSU tackling-wise. It's already an improvement from last season. This is incredible. Chicken with honey mustard, Sage. Chicken with honey mustard. Ooh, another strong, beautiful, brilliant tackle there by who is that? Who's that who made that tackle? It's the ball caught on him by Nick Anderson, I believe. Yeah, number 4. 21. How is that Michael Turner? Who's 21? How is that? That name is that number is like completely throwing me for a loop. 21 LSU. The last 21 I remember at LSU was Ryan Yates. Like, who took over that number? That's got to be. I know Joel Rogers is 22. Who's 21? Yep, Michael Turner Jr. Yep, Michael Turner. And Michael Turner is like what, 170? What a great tackle right there on Nick Anderson. Like, that's just beautiful tackling by this team that I just showed you. The Mansour Lane play, the Devon Keys play. And then another one right there. Michael Van Buren here taking snaps. Ooh, you love it. Okay, Harlem Berry hits this hole hard and then just gets roughhoused by Pyburn. I think it is 44 first. Yeah, he turns and kind of gets a piece of him. Let's see. Yeah. Deshaun Spears comes in and finishes that. Deshaun Spears just looks like a massive human being right there. Another play where Juwan Johnson takes that football and goes running, but ooh, that's a physical hit. LSU are hitting a lot harder than they did all of last year. And here's where we see Damian Ramos kicking field goals. And you saw Tamarcus Cooley block one here. And then you see Aaron Burrell attempt a few, and it seems like he misses almost every one of them. Which is not ripping on him. He's trying to make that transition from just being place kicker to field goal kicker. These reps are important in front of a live audience, a live crowd. And we all know Aaron Burrell has the leg to do this. There we go. There's the block, I think. Nope, not that one. We know Aaron Burrell has the leg to eventually make that change. Is it this season? No. He's got the leg. He does not have the accuracy. Yeah, I don't know what to make. I don't know what to make of obviously we don't need to have Aaron Burrell be our kicker right this season, so it's not a big deal. But he's always told me that he wants to be that kicker for LSU where he does it all. does everything, kicks everything.
Some of our neighbors, in the state of Louisiana.
This is Kelly saying,
What does it say about your returning roster? That's
we want to do a open practice or a scrimmage versus a Tulane or a Southern, something like that. I love that idea. Here's Glenn Gilbo with a question.
what does it say about your returning roster that some of the really highly well thought of guys in the portal have not just kind of come in right away and become number one? Although I know you haven't decided who's number one, but it's like some of your veterans seem to be holding the positions pretty well.
Well, we've developed our players. I think this is partly, you have to have player development along with bringing in guys in the portal. Remember now, the development of this program was that we needed the portal because they needed to come in and play for us. We were so short on scholarship players. That's not a great place to be. So if everybody you bring into the portal has to come in and play for you, I can put a great spin on it and tell you we're going to win the national championship, but I think we all knew that that's not a great place to be. You want to be in a position where you bring in portal players that are building off of what you already have. And that's why this roster is the best roster we've had, because we're building both depth within our football team and we're bringing in veteran players. So that mix is the best mix that we've had since I've been here.
Hey, Coach. A constant theme throughout the spring scrimmage was Javian Toviani. It just seemed like he was just all over the place. Either he was making the play or was right there as the play was happening. Talk about his versatility on the field, and then also how has he improved throughout the spring? Well,
I think he's, we bounced him around a lot. I think he's more comfortable at the position in which he's playing. He's communicating better. The spring has been really good for him. He's had a good spring. But I think all of our safeties have improved immensely. And look, they're all young, and so, they're all getting a lot more work. Deshaun Spears is getting better. Cooley's getting a lot more work. I just think by virtue of them actually getting time out there, you can see their development. So there's no question that he's been much more visible. He's made a lot more plays for us, but he's been in a consistent position, and that's helped him a lot feel more comfortable, as well as the other.
What does that tell you? Kelly's basically saying, Toviano has made some strides, but we've got a ton of guys who can come and play this position. I think he's letting Toviano know, hey, man, you had some good moments today, but listen, we have a lot of good players on this roster. We can replace you. We can go get somebody who can play the position. But yeah, I feel like that's a little. I get he wants him to toe the line, not get in any more legal trouble, whatever. But LSU are actually a lot shorter at safety than we think. We're really just one injury from being truly exposed once again at that position. Extremely thin. And I, for one, am really tired of that with LSU's safety position. We've got to find two guys to hang our hat on. We have a good rotation, a few guys that come in, give the starters some rest, and that's it. That's all we got to do. And I feel like if Javian Toviano, former 5-star, if Deshaun Spears, former 4-star, should be 5-star player, really highly touted, really highly pursued. If those guys can't make it happen, combined with the number 2 overall portal safety into Marcus Cooley, we're cursed at LSU or something at safety. We're cursed. If that can't be, because I swear to God, the safety position, it's got to be figured out this season. We cannot have another season of huge busts at the back. We cannot waste this group of linebackers. man, maybe if it's not figured out after week 1, week 2, you move Harold Perkins back there. Like, oh, Lord have mercy. I don't think that will be necessary, though. I think these guys are better than people are giving them credit for. And people are ragging on this guy, that guy. They don't like what Spears is bringing. Maybe they got the play against USC kind of stuck in their head. They don't think Teo Viano's good enough. Maybe they got this one bad rep in practice kind of stuck in their head. Cooley made a terrible play in practice. I don't see him getting much stick. People tend to get locked into 1 or 2 plays that really stick in their craw and obsess and feel like that defines that player or that person. Stop doing that, because it is the furthest thing from reality. It doesn't represent the reality or what's actually possible. If you followed those type of feelings, Joe Burrow would have never been quarterback at LSU. Justin Jefferson would have never risen from the ashes of being a 1-star. You know, it's some people would have never questioned Les Miles saying, have Jamar Chase be a cornerback.
The safeties as well.
As you try to overhaul this offensive line, what have you seen in the running game in the spring that y'all have worked on?
Well, there's been as you know, a concerted effort to be much more diverse, hit on a broader spectrum, from outside zone to gap schemes to inside zone. We're running a lot more misdirection. So it's been a conscious decision that we've made, that we needed to be that, as well as direct snap. And I think it just makes us a better offense when you have a much more diversified running game.
I just don't. It makes me uncomfortable that, like, later in the season, I post something that says, Harold Perkins is going to play star like he should be playing, and people get angry. And how dare you tell the opponent our plans? Okay, I get that. That does make sense. I understand that. That maybe was a little too far. Kelly, what are you doing here? This is way worse than anything I could report. Like, Kelly's literally telling me, we're going to do a lot of cutbacks. We're going to do a lot of counter runs. We're going to have a lot of wildcats that might not mean anything. Just try and get you to jump off sides. We're just going to have a diversified offense. Don't tell people your game plan. Don't try and, look how smart I am because I'm going to tell you what we're going to do. Just do it. Sometimes these coaches get way too caught up in, let me show you the process. And we love that as media. But man, as a fan, I hate it, because this is a guy who does not want to give people like me any information. Barely let us interview players as it is, right? Have opportunities like that, even though they've given us a lot of opportunities. This is a guy who, just like every college coach in America, he's not going to want to give the media a story, right? But here he is giving the media a story. Not only that, he's giving the opponents really a lot of good juice on what LSU, kind of the values, the tenets of this 2025 LSU offense. Misdirection runs, random wildcat packages. And so everyone's going to be like, okay, get ready for some random personnel switches for LSU's offense, but just remember, once in a while, yeah, they're going to do something tricky, but most of the time they're just going to go with the bread and butter, give it to Durham, or have it switch back, or they call a timeout and don't snap it. They're not going to run all this crazy shit. So either LSU have to call that bluff and actually run these crazy plays, let Juwan Johnson throw the football, let Juwan Johnson run a quarterback draw, let Xavier Thomas get the football in the Wildcat, all this stuff. Or the rest of it just kind of looks like extra empty plays where the football is out of Garrett Nussmeier's hands just to kind of trick the other team. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we've got to be really smart in how we run this type of stuff where it could really screw the offense up, trying to get extra tricky before we've really nailed down what we're actually good at.
Offense when you have a much more diversified running game. I think our offensive line is capable of doing all the things that I just mentioned. We got guys that can pull. We got guys that can double team at the point of attack and run traditional duo plays. And I think we can be really good at outside zone. So this was really about, focusing in and being much better at the running game. Look, you can't just say, well, we're going to focus on the running game and forget that we're really talented at wide receiver. But I think we've struck a much better balance in bringing those two together this spring.
Coach DeJuan Johnson, you're running him at quarterback right now, but does he have a skill set that you can do a lot of different things with him on offense, put him in different places?
Yeah, we think we do. I mean, we think that we enhance our red zone package with him. I think you saw a glimpse of that a little bit today.
Anytime you can enhance your package, you got to do it, right? Kelly just said it.
Our red zone package.
On offense, put him in different places?
Yeah, we think we do. I mean, we think that we enhance our red zone package with him. I think you saw a glimpse of that a little bit today. I didn't let you film that purposely. You guys you had a hard 11:30 stop for a reason. But I think he enhances what we can do in the red zone. I think he enhances what we can do, at that position in the running game. I mean, it's hard. We saw that.
I love that they're giving Juwan Johnson the keys to be some type of talisman of this offense, secret talisman in a way where you don't know he's going to have a big effect on this offense. You don't know he's going to have a big effect on the game. And then out of nowhere, he gets the ball maybe 4 or 5 times and scores a few touchdowns. And soon enough, he's basically won LSU the game. And he's taken the pressure for once off of Garrett Nussmeier's back, on his shoulders. And when Garrett Nussmeier's on the sidelines or, on the side of the field in motion going into receiver, and he sees that, number 8 go into the end zone and he knows, okay, the game's over now. You imagine how good he's going to feel. Oh, my God, I didn't have to throw us to another win. Oh, my God, someone else kind of took this, the reins away and finished this off for once. Like, as much as Garrett Nussmeier is a gamer who wants the responsibility, wants the challenges, wants the battles, wants the never-ending, drive. At the same time, leading the SEC, leading college football in passing attempts, leading the SEC in interceptions, having, I think it was at least 4 or 5 fumbles this year. He has to figure out a balanced pursuit into this season where LSU are going to run the football. And we're going to do it in many different ways. But we're also going to put the football in the hands of our best player, Garrett Nussmeier, to go win us the football game. So I think you're going to have the best of both worlds. It's just when they push the button, who they play, when they play guys, who they play them against, what packages we have in certain moments. It's going to be such a decider in how LSU does this season. The utilization of the personnel, because LSU have a championship roster, guys. This roster should win a championship this year. I'm just going to say it. The roster I saw out there today should win a national championship. But you know what? They're not going to do it unless they can figure out a way to utilize and maximize this amazing personnel to the best of their ability. When to play this guy, when to play that guy, when to insert this package, when to run the football, when to pass the ball, when to control the clock, when to kill the game off, when to take those downfield shots, when to trust your offensive line, when to give Nuss the keys, when to trust your dual threat, amazing running back Caden Durham. So I think what you got is you've got a hell of a staff. You've probably got the best staff that's ever coached at LSU right now. As in terms of personal accomplishments, professionally, and what's about to come around the corner for a lot of these guys. I think outside of 2019 staff is still better than this staff. Obvious reason. But this staff is incredible. And I feel like when you have a former defensive coordinator in the ACC for Miami, who's now your safeties analyst, and a former Broyles finalist is your edge rushing coach, and future head coaches are your OC and your DC, you're in a damn good position staff wise. You take all these minerals, you put them together, take all these pieces to the puzzle, right? All these great transfer players, all these strong returners. All these great coaches. Brian Kelly in his 4th season. What's capable in his 4th season? Blake Baker's promise on the defensive side. Harold Perkins coming back from injury. Whit Weeks coming back from injury. All 3 Weeks brothers, all 3 Weeks sons playing on the same team, in the same season, in the same position together. That's just nuts as it is. There's so many different ways that things could go right for this LSU team this season, and there's so many different ways that things could go wrong for this team. Like, I know you don't want to talk about the negative. We'll just ignore it, act like it's not happening. Like, and a lot of the negative stuff for this LSU team is kind of in the behind the scenes or kind of in the hypothetical. But frequently, those things happen to teams season to season. Injuries, suspensions, things like that. Bad decisions by coaches, etc. I'm just really wondering what the ceiling is for this team. This spring game was very illuminating, but at the same time, it didn't really answer any questions. It actually gave me a lot more. More and more that I watched that footage, more and more that I watched that film, the more and more I'm like, okay, I thought I knew who was the best edge man. I thought I knew who the best receiver on the team was. I thought I had, my starting week 1 lineup kind of figured out. But then I figure out, whoa, actually, you had it completely wrong. Thank you, Anthony Russo. We see Anthony Russo retweeting our stuff, saying good stuff. Lon, thank you, brother. Everyone, if you haven't followed Anthony Russo. Definitely do. Here's his profile right here at Anthony50192345. He's an absolute badass, Navy veteran. And seriously, thank you so much, brother. CBD, what's up, my man? William. We will get more into this game. I feel like there's so much more that I'm just scratching the surface on this game from the spring game. I feel like there's so much more that went missing, that we missed, that maybe people who were there were able to see, but people weren't initially able to capture. Once again, this is footage from the Jordy Culotta show. See, these are all kicks from Aaron Burrell, as I was telling you guys about before. Aaron Burrell actually once told us, I want to be that all-around kicker for LSU. Like, told me personally that. And so I was really hoping those would all make it in. But, his accuracy isn't going to be there for a bit. He'll be fine. There goes Nuss in for the rushing touchdown. But, of course, they can't tackle him. So, once again, hard to tell. Safe to say, I think he would have been stopped well short. I'd love to see the guys in motion, getting Caleb Jackson in motion. His body looks a lot more tighter. Caleb Jackson looked like he enjoyed himself today. Here's another play with Caleb Jackson. Oh, this play was beautiful. The play action fake, release right through there. Nice. Beautiful throw. Ooh, Caleb. No, it wasn't Caleb. That was Juwan Johnson there. Nice block by Caleb there. Juwan Johnson, nice tuck and run. Once again, Caleb Jackson getting a lot of the work because Caden Durham was out. But still, Caleb Jackson, fantastic player. Love to see him getting the confidence and love to see him getting the plays and football. Everybody, we are going to continue with our live spring game reaction. Tonight, we'll have an article out that goes even deeper with even more content about what we witnessed and what we just saw, apart from these crazy James Bond compilations that Seiji is watching. Yes, we have got a lot of film to go through, and we've already been going through it, but my God, it seems like there's more things that continue to catch the eye as you watch. So thank you so much to the media guys who have been covering this so well with Jordy Culotta show filming this, Shock to Say filming this, On 3, 247, Koki Riley, Advocate, Wilson Alexander. The list goes on and on and on. Thank you guys. Thank you, everybody. And have a good rest of your Saturday. Have a hot Saturday night. Go Tigers.